What is going on? What is going on? What is going on, party people? It is your boy, Coach Dee Brown, former big leaguer, former first round pick with the Kansas City Royals, man. And man, we've been having a nice run, man. We've started last week getting the college coaches back on. They got finished with their fall seasons and doing whatever they've been doing, and it's good that I could finally catch them, during this holiday time. They hanging out with their families and they got a little time at the house, give them a little break from the kids and the wives, and they come on live and chop it up a little bit, talk a little bit of ball, man. So my coach that's sitting to the side of me, man, we've been communicating for a while, trying to get him on, and man, it's I'm finally got my boy on here, man. When we get a little talk a little baseball over here, man. But we're going to Maryland. We've just been talking behind the scenes, man, and I talk about how much that state of Maryland, what it means to me. My sister lived there a long time. I signed, to go to school there in the state of Maryland. Very good ball being played there, high school and beyond. So, man, Maryland has always been very, very good to me. All right. But if I'm not, I want to introduce Coach Brian Holloman from Maryland Eastern Shore, HBCU school over there in Maryland. And man, Coach, what's going on, bro?
It's a great time of year. Obviously, I'm happy to be home. I'm sitting in my office, enjoying being around my girls. I've got two girls and a wife who they just last weekend won a state championship in field hockey. So It's just a lot of fun to be around the house right now.
And me understanding the Maryland ties, I know girls field hockey is huge in Maryland because if I'm not mistaken, the Terps are like powerhouse when it comes to field hockey. Right?
They absolutely are. They absolutely are.
Right, I found that out years ago, but yeah, that's pretty cool, man. So, Coach, man, I appreciate you again coming on. And listen, everybody that's kind of chiming in, that's going to be joining us today, please give me a little shout out. Let me know where you're listening in from. Kimberly, what's going on? Vince, what's up? Jacob, what's going on? All right, so we listen. If we got what I always do, we go back to the beginning, and I want to hear more about the man behind the program. All right, and so. If you could, Coach, kind of talk about, playing career, coaching career to where you are now as head coach at Maryland Eastern Shore.
Well, good questions. I've been involved in baseball for a long time. Quite honestly, I stopped playing semi-pro ball when I was about 42. So playing for quite a while.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Enjoyed the heck out of it. Got a lot of friends that we really played together for 20 plus years. With that being said, I've been a high school and college coach. I started out with Maryland Eastern Shore back in the late 90s. Went from 97 to 99. Spent 3 seasons at Maryland Eastern Shore. Really had a lot of good players come through the program. Worked with a head coach named Kay Penny who taught me a lot about the game and about recruiting and understanding the college game. I took that on to coach for 18 years in high school.
Nice.
So I spent 18 years there. Really had some good ball clubs. And now back at Maryland Eastern Shore, and this will be my 4th year at Maryland Eastern Shore. So, spent pretty much my whole life playing or coaching or something. So it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man. I mean, kudos to you to be 42 still playing. Because Lord knows I get asked all the time, but Dee Brown would not be sitting here doing no show if I was out there on this field playing right now. My body can't take it, man. So kudos to you. I live my career through you right now. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm done now.
Okay. Well, I've been done. All right. So join the party now. So, but anyway, Maryland Eastern Shore, man. If you could kind of, like you said, you were here there in the late '90s, and been away from the program, and been now head coach for 4 years now, and if you could kind of, tell my listeners, where is Maryland Eastern Shore located? What division you guys playing? What division level you guys are, and the conference you playing.
Sure. So Maryland Eastern Shore is on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. It's near Ocean City. I was mentioning that Chincoteague, Assateague area. It's where NASA is, and they recently, sent out some rockets to the space station. So sometimes people know the area just by some of that going on. Ocean City, Maryland is obviously right on the beach. So we have a lot of guys who actually are in our program who have beach houses down there, or their parents have beach houses, I should say.
Right.
And, we are a part of the MEAC conference. We have been one of the original members of the MEAC conference, and we are a Division One program. So right now, we've done a lot of great things in our program. And, this is my fourth year now as the head coach. So we've really got things up and rolling. I tell people all the time that when I walk into a school or take over a program, I won't call it a program until we get some time under our belt and make sure that we get things rolling the way that we feel like we need to. And I think we are at a point right now where we've got a lot of really good players. We spend lots of time on development, but I will tell you that, and I speak to recruits and I speak to everybody, we follow three strict pillars. And the number one pillar is academics. So scholarship, that's our first pillar. And, we won't accept guys that aren't going to do it in the classroom. Our second pillar is citizenship. We want guys that want to be involved in the community, that'll help out and really look to build the university's goals and objectives. And then finally, our sportsmanship, which includes, our ability to play the game and the way that we handle all of the operations of whether it be weight training, whether it be practice time, game time, how you approach your opponents, all that kind of good stuff. So all the baseball stuff gets lumped into the sportsmanship.
All right. Speaking of, Division I MEAC and what it takes academically to get in there. So what are some of the requirements from a GPA, SAT, or ACT level that is needed, to get into Maryland Eastern Shore?
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to say this is a bad question because with the NCAA and the university and how COVID is working and all that kind of good stuff, some of the rules and regulations have kind of shifted a little bit related to like NCAA requirements SAT requirements, as well as the NCAA requirements for that matter. But you still need to go through the eligibility center with the NCAA, making sure I push this quite a bit, making sure that you've still got your 16 core credits and you've got a minimum of a 2.3 GPA. That's not necessarily going to get you into our school, but as long as you can meet the NCAA requirements, that'll move you in the right direction. And, to be honest with you, I won't tell you that we won't accept anybody that doesn't have a stellar GPA. However, in my process of recruiting somebody, I really make an emphasis on making sure that they understand the rigors that they're going to have to go through if they come in below a 3.0. A 3.0 is kind of my GPA number for our program, making sure that our guys are above a 3.0. And that goes for when they are in the program, when we sustain how we move forward. Our program has traditionally been 3.2 or better as an average GPA. So again, I'm not kidding when I say that our number one pillar is scholarship. We make sure the guys come in and do their job in the classroom.
Good deal. So with that 3.0, you feel like, they'll be handling the workload academically?
I do. I think the guys, I'm not telling you that guys, like I said, can't be below a 3.0.
I got you.
I'm just telling you that there are a lot of things that I start evaluating if somebody is below a 3.0. Again, our goal isn't to eliminate people from the opportunity of getting into our program, but they need to really get in their mind that there are lots of things that are involved, and baseball is not the only thing.
All right. Well, speaking of not baseball not being the only thing, so if I wanted to, if I have a kid and he's interested in Maryland Eastern Shore as a school, what are some of the major, what are some of the, what are they known for academically, major-wise?
So just in our program, just to kind of give you an idea, we have exercise science or kinesiology is a big major for us. If you want to get into the physical therapy department, you want to get into strength and conditioning, being in that as a career. So that's a big career path. Criminal justice is big. Business is big. I will say that our university is a agriculture campus. Okay. So we do really push ag science. We've got a number of student athletes that are in computer science as well. Mm-hmm. Business is big. So, that's a few of the majors. We do have, aviation science and things like that. So a lot of different choices, a lot of different areas. And it does seem like the guys tend to migrate towards the ones I just spoke about, though.
Yeah, I know. That's tough to be guys trying to do chemistry, and this is what I've learned. You know what I'm saying? From talking to you guys, and it's tough for those type of guys. Guys that want to do chemistry and all type of pre-meds and all this, and still try to do your thing on the baseball field. Seems like it's really tough and time demanding, huh?
Well, I'll tell you, I just had one of my graduates. He just came back to see me. He's in the PA program at our university. And he went through our biology program, and now he's doing the PA program at our university. And he said, "Coach, I am so thankful that I didn't have to do this while I was playing, because it's tough." But, he graduated 3 years ago, and he and another guy are both going to be PAs before long. It'll take them about another year, but doing a great job.
All right, man. So when it comes to those players, where are they? Where are you getting the core group of your kids, and where do you recruit from when it comes to Maryland Eastern Shore?
So my core group tends to be primarily in the Mid-Atlantic. So we have players from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia. That's the primary area, but we do have players from different areas. We've got players from Florida, Georgia, North Carolina. So again, we really have guys from a vast area, but the mass come from the Mid-Atlantic areas.
Speaking of your players, and it sounds like you guys are going through a little, a little setback again for another year. Can you talk a little bit more and what's going on with you and your season? I just found this out myself.
Sure.
Literally talking about it. So what's going on, man, with Maryland Eastern Shore in the baseball season this spring?
So right now, Maryland Eastern Shore and Bethune-Cookman are right now the only two schools that I know of that have canceled their season within our conference. Unfortunately, with the COVID, it's a struggle, and our university was not really prepared for us athletically. Whether it was basketball or volleyball or track. We've all been shut down, and we currently are in a position where we're not going to play this season. So that's a little bit of a setback for us. I will tell you that we're going to try to make it as competitive as we can. Hopefully, we'll be playing each other as much as possible, but that's going to be all relative to testing and making sure that guys are healthy. And the number one priority of our university is the health and safety of our student athletes, and I support that 110%. And it's real difficult this time. If you watch football, basketball, teams are having to bow out of bowl games or of playing non-conference games or whatever, and it's strictly because of the health and well-being of their players. So no matter how competitive I am, and I really want to get out on the field and compete, I do want to make sure that our guys are safe and healthy.
How do you keep 18 to 22-year-old kids, from like not losing their mind, especially from sophomores up? They're losing 2 years, you know what I'm saying, of playing. How do you keep them sane, man? Because they're.
Well, I tell you, again, we talked about this a little while ago. The relationship that I try to create with our guys, I try to keep them understanding that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that we've got a plan that we try to put in place for them as we move forward. And I tell you. Like I said, we've got some absolutely outstanding guys. They don't like it. However, they are definitely, most of them are on board with staying and making sure that they can compete in the future. But it is tough to keep guys like that are chomping at the bit to get out on the field. That's for sure.
What do you do for, I don't know, you may have one or two pro prospect kids, you know what I'm saying? What are they, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? What do they do? I should say.
Well, that's a great question. So one of the things that we do that will help, obviously, scouts are everywhere. Scouts are always looking for guys. They show up just like anybody else. They show up on college campuses and they watch, or they show up in this particular case in the summer when we get the guys placed in a good summer league. They'll be there. So right now I've actually got a guy who we're working with the Kendrick Jackson on the Major League Draft League. So there are definitely options for guys that are really good and are struggling to be seen.
I feel for all those kids, man. But basically, I feel for you too. I know you want more, love to get out there and compete and to sit back for 2 years straight. Man, that's kind of crazy, man. So, do you feel like, from a development standpoint, do you feel like, even as a conference, you know what I'm saying, you got two teams, two top, programs that are not competing, you know what I'm saying, this year in the MEAC. What do you, I guess everything that you got to keep positive, but do you feel like, it just hurts the conference as a general, not just Maryland Eastern Shore?
I think it's definitely going to hurt the conference overall. I don't know at this point whether, everybody's going to be good to go once things roll around. When we get past the Christmas holiday, I'm still not sure that we're in a great place right now, just in the country and people and getting sick and all that kind of good stuff. So that's a difficult thing. But obviously it's difficult for our conference when schools are not able to play. However, I think that they're going to move on and the conference will be fine, for the year. And then obviously, hopefully, everything will be back to normal starting next year. So I think just like anything, they can make it by for a year. If we had to do this for an extended period of time, then it would be a struggle. But I think everybody will be fine, making it through. And again, it's going to be a difficult season, no matter where you are, making sure that your guys are tested, making sure that your guys are, the appropriate guys are quarantined and things like that. So roster management is going to be difficult for everybody. And again, just like I said earlier, teams are doing it right now and struggling with it in their Power 5 schools as well. So, and it's just difficult.
All right. I spoke to Coach Corner and Coach Shoemate about this. You guys being, white dudes at an HBCU school. How is the recruiting when you go into a family's home and being at HBCU school and walking in? Do you ever get any type of flack, or they just accept it what it is and don't hear much about it? How is your? I mean, you've been there 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago, and back at it. Do you feel a difference? You know what I'm saying? From let's say late 90s to where you are now.
Well, I will tell you that being at Maryland Eastern Shore, one of the things that's been a pleasure is I enjoyed the heck out of it back in the late 90s, and it's no different now than it was then. I think that baseball is a universal sport. I've played, this game for as long as I can remember, quite honestly. And all the guys that I play against, guys don't look at each other and say, you know what, you don't fit or you don't fit. They just go out there and play. And I think that, one of the things that we do at an HBCU is we're always looking for guys that fit. Do they, what is the ultimate objective? We're trying to get guys graduated and enhance their experience by being on the baseball field. If they ultimately become a Major League Baseball player in the process, that's great. But we're trying to use the education to build the platform for them to be better human beings. And I go out and I recruit the heck out of guys. Probably the most difficult thing that I encounter is when you are recruiting good athletes, they have a lot of options. And sometimes those options are not necessarily always an HBCU. Sometimes it's a big time school, and the things that I can offer those guys, they can get other places, and we can't offer that. So, again, I want to make the biggest impact on our guys. And if I can help them, with a scholarship, which we don't have tons and tons of money. We've got a little bit of money that we offer to guys, and we try to spread it around a little bit to make sure that we have a good experience again with the guys that we've got in our program. And again, I've never felt in any way, shape, or form any way related to whether I'm going to recruit an African-American player or not. Me being a white guy and that's never even come up. And I appreciate that because, I treat this as I've really worked a long time to try to get to this point and try to create a program that people can be proud of. And again, I'm an alum, of Maryland Eastern Shore. So I get it. And I understand exactly why you asked the question, because it is difficult.
Right. I mean, so are you fully funded?
We are not.
Okay.
We are not a fully funded program. But like I said, we do everything we can. Part of that's why we choose good academic guys, because we want to try to get them some academic money, as well as if the options are there to get some athletic money, and then maybe then it's not a whole lot coming out of your pocket at the end of the day. It is tough. You ask the question, where do we recruit from? A lot of times we are not an overly expensive school, but when you do come from out of state, it adds an additional cost to you.
What are the costs? I know you didn't. I usually ask that question. What are the costs in and out of state, Coach?
So the cost overall is about $20,000 in state and about $30,000 out of state. Now that includes room, board, tuition, et cetera. And obviously that's approximate numbers. But again, when you hit an out-of-state student with an extra $10,000, that's a tough one to overcome. So
it kills me. It kills me with I don't even know how many HBCUs are fully funded. I can't. I've interviewed pretty much all of you guys, but it seems like baseball, even with not being an HBCU, you know what I'm saying, it's still allowed at 11.7 scholarships, which hurts on a broad, bigger scale. It hurts the game because, you get those tweeter guys that likes multiple sports. They're going to choose basketball and football if they have the chance just to get the full rise. I know that was my decision when I was coming out, and I hear it a lot. But on top of that, you know what I'm saying, now you're at HBCU, and it's great. It's a D1 program, and everybody talks about, well, man, why we don't have this, and why we, not enough kids going over there. But when you really start thinking about it, many of you guys, are not fully funded, meaning you don't get the full allowance of 11.7 scholarships. So, I mean, I understand every school is different, but I don't even know. I can't even remember who told me that they are fully funded, and when it comes to HBCU schools, but that's like a double whammy, right? You kind of feel like most guys, even just being a sport of baseball, is feeling, tied with one hand behind your back. But HBCUs, it feels like you guys have both hands, tied behind your back. No?
Well, we do. We are not always. We've got a great campus. We've got a nice baseball field. It isn't anything extravagant. We do, however, play at a minor league ballpark. That's a good caveat to this. Okay. And that's out of necessity. It's not necessarily because, if we get a lot of rain, we have a hard time being able to make our field playable. So right now we go and we play at our local minor league ballpark. So that's a good thing. The most difficult thing in the whole grand scheme of things is if I had a full allotment of scholarships, that would help me in being able to attract some guys that I lose on a regular basis. And there have been questions, who are you recruiting? And well, the guys that we're recruiting that may be African-American players, they are going to a bigger school because they have that opportunity. And it's not that I don't want to offer that to them. It's because I just don't have it available to me. And, for me, I got to find the right mix. And again, it kind of goes back to all the things that come into play, making sure that they're academically where they need to be, along with being athletically capable of walking out on the field and making a difference. So we've got to find guys that really make a difference. And a lot of times, I'm going to emphasize this to anybody that's listening is, sometimes people think that they're going to walk into a program and then all of a sudden be in the starting role. And there are a lot of guys that have that expectation and they decide to go somewhere else. Well, the unfortunate thing is they end up going somewhere else and sitting as well. To be a Division I program and to be able to compete against the teams that we're competing against, we've got to put guys out there that are going to make a difference. And and not walk out there and be overmatched. And I think we found the guys to do that. The players that are coming in as freshmen and sophomores, they've got to understand that they've got to be patient and get to the point where they can change the level of the team on the field. And it takes time. Sometimes it's a physical thing. Sometimes they're just not big enough and strong enough. You walk in as a 18-year-old guy playing a guy, in this case now with COVID, you're going to have guys that are 23, 20, maybe even 24.
That's crazy.
And there's a big gap between the strength and understanding of the game in all those years. I mean, you're talking about 5 or 6 years and the difference between those guys, and there's no match. Physically, they can make it, sometimes, but even mentally, it's a challenge.
All right. Jansen says, how many guys are on your roster?
So we manage a 35-man roster, just like the other Division I schools in the country. Obviously, now with COVID, they've increased the roster size and things like that. But we are still trying to maintain a 35-man roster. And quite honestly, it goes back to what we were just talking about, and that is making sure that we don't overextend ourselves and not be able to offer guys, certain guys money. So that becomes a little bit of a management issue when you've got 40 guys on your roster.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I wanted to kind of get back to the recruiting side of things and the race thing. How I talk about it walking into a black home, being a white dude. So how is it on the flip side, walking into a white home and trying to recruit a white kid? You know what I'm saying, to an HBCU? I'm sure they have their own, kind of. You did it. You know what I'm saying? Is it, what kind of kickback you get from there? I love to, be a fly on the wall sometimes, but how does that work? So
I tell you, one of the first things that I say up front when I'm sitting with recruits, the first thing that I want people to know, and it doesn't matter whether they're an African-American or a white player, I say this to everybody. You guys understand we are an HBCU. And some guys will say, well, what does that mean? Well, that's one of the things that we start off with, and I go, this might not be a guy for me, regardless of what color you are. And on the flip side, there are a lot of guys that have done their homework. So with being able to go out and search the internet for schools, it makes it a little more manageable for guys to understand what it is that they're looking at with regards to the universities. And I really have never, in all the years that I've been involved in Maryland Eastern Shore, I've never felt like guys don't want to go to school at our school. They just want an opportunity. They want to go get a good education, and they want an opportunity to play the game. And we give them that. Now it's a matter of whether or not I offer them, an opportunity with some money, or whether they can get some academically or whatever. But, at the end of the day, I've never, this is in all the years that I've been doing this, ever felt uncomfortable either way. What kind of guys? Well, I know sometimes some of the questions are, at an HBCU, there are more white guys than there are black guys. And that's not something that takes place necessarily on our campus, but we've got to, I always say this, we have representation just like you would in a major league dugout. So our university,
it's good and bad with that, though, Coach. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. And you're right. And you're right when you make that statement. But it all depends on which dugout you're really looking in, whether it be Hispanic players or African American or white players or whatever. It's all kind of, baseball tends to guys tend to migrate to places where they feel like they can play and they feel comfortable.
Yeah, it's good deal. I wanted to kind of, you talked about the course, and I know you're going to be playing, you're not going to be playing this spring. So you guys going to still be allowed to practice and stuff? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, currently, I think the biggest thing that they wanted to accomplish in this, the whole grand scheme of things, was making sure that we stayed within our own bubble. And when we do our testing and things like that, and we're staying within our cohort of guys, it makes it a little more manageable if somebody were to be shut down. Whereas if we were to go to somebody else's campus and having to stay in hotels, having to ride on a bus, having to go into places for dining and things like that, those were all concerns as well. So with that being said, I think the university's plan is to allow us to practice, to scrimmage, to do things like that, but just not have outside competition.
All right. From the MEAC, you guys are Florida all the way up to, I guess, Delaware would be a little bit more north of you guys. So, how's the travel in the MEAC? You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be a little taxing. I mean, you guys got to travel down to Florida, no?
So kind of taking you back to the late 90s, we used to do the travel from north to south and everywhere in between. My first 3 years, we were right in the mid-Atlantic, where we've got Norfolk State, Coppin State, and Dell State and us. So we stayed within our northern area, and then the southern area played within themselves. This was going to be our first year going back to playing everybody. And unfortunately, obviously, we're back to north and south the way we are right now. And hopefully we'll be back to be in one conference and playing everywhere next year.
What do you feel like the future of the MEAC? What do you feel like the future of MEAC is with potentially Bethune? They're all leaving, right? They're not playing this year, and now they're leaving to go to the SWAC. What do you see the MEAC as a conference being?
Right now, the Bethune-Cookman, Florida A&M, those two schools are going to the SWAC, and then NCA&T will be moving, I think, to the Southern Conference.
Big South, or probably got one of those, right?
I can't remember.
I can't remember. You probably know about than me.
I don't remember which conference, but the NC Central will be the only team that will join the North and will play. However, I do know that there's communication with other schools of potentially getting into our conference.
Okay, cool. So you feel like long term, you guys will still be.
I feel good because I think that, I really feel comfortable with the northern schools and wanting to keep the MEAC together. I think that's where it ultimately started, and I think their goal is to continue to grow the conference.
All right. Jansen, any camps on the calendar or still up in the air?
Well, it seems like every time we start planning camps, then the NCAA kind of moves our dead period back. So I know for sure we have camps scheduled for the summer. We're really playing it by ear and whether or not we're going to be able to do anything during after April 15th. So right now we're kind of playing that part by ear, but we will have camps starting in June and running through the summer and into the fall.
All right.
We normally do a prospect camp in September, October, and November.
All right, good to know. So from the recruiting side, what are you doing now? I mean, you kind of just up in the air because guys coming back, you guys don't have a season. Like, what do you do? What do you do? You know what I'm saying right now? Do you have a list? I'm sure you got some 21s coming in. But have you just?
So right now, obviously, before we decided that we were going to cancel our season, we were sitting in pretty good shape of where we wanted to be related to guys that were coming back guys that were graduating and filling those holes with incoming guys. Since we have, decided to cancel our season, we are still in the process of looking for some additional players, only because we're going to lose a couple guys due to them wanting to play, quite honestly. So we're right now in a position where we're gonna grow our program a little bit, but it's not going to be a lot of turnover.
Yeah, I feel for you on that side, but I understand from the kids' side, wanting to play and kind of going from there, man. So let me, we talked to Price, we talked camps, we talked conference, Division I. Style of play, what is Coach Holloman's teams known for? If I'm coming in town to play Maryland Eastern Shore, what we need to be on the lookout for what?
I like teams that pitch and play good defense. I always tell our hitting coach, that hitting's a bonus. So if he can get me some bonus points there, then we're going to be in real good shape. But over the years, we've developed some guys on the mound that have done a really nice job. And I feel comfortable with that. When we go out, I expect our guys, when the ball's hit, to field it up, throw guys out. So at the end of the day, from a whole team, it's pitching and defense. If you're talking about offensive side, we don't necessarily go out looking for guys that hit the ball out of the ballpark, but I'll take those guys. Mm-hmm. However, I like guys that'll rattle it around in the gaps. Guys that can run, guys that can hit the ball in the gap and take off and create havoc on the base paths. So, we have a tendency and have over the first few years, we have gotten guys into scoring position. We just haven't always, scored those runs. And, we are in a good place in getting guys in scoring position now. We do need to look for a couple guys that can pop it a little bit. And I think, like I said, I think we found some of those guys. Unfortunately, some of those guys are starting to graduate, and because of all the years of missing, we may never get to see what they ultimately could accomplish. But, we'll see. We'll see how many guys come back and how many guys ultimately, stay and really get to.
When are you gonna know? When are you gonna know that, Coach? I mean, is it just because they got a certain time frame, right? If they want to play in the spring, you got to pretty much know, right?
Yeah. Well, see, the tough part for our guys, not everybody's leaving. Most of our guys are staying.
Right.
Right. So with that being said, we're in good shape. The issue becomes graduation. So if our guys, we had 14 guys that were slated to graduate this past year. And I'll be honest with you, a number of those guys want to come back and get their master's degree, or they want to get a second major. So we're in a position where it's pretty good, and I think it speaks volumes that guys want to stay. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, the goal is to get these guys everything educationally they want, and I think they're going to get that, and then their ability to play for 4 years is paramount for many of them, and I think they're going to get that too. It's just being pushed back in a little bit.
So whenever you get out on the recruiting trail again, all right. Is it if you're looking at athletes, is it more so the kid that can catch the ball, or is more number one to you defensively? Not talking pitching. Is it more the kid that can catch the ball more so than the kid that is okay defensively and more on the offensive side?
So that's a great question. One of the things that obviously we're looking at from a Division I perspective is guys that can throw the ball. Okay, a lot of guys can catch it, Some guys have a hard time throwing the ball. You know, if you're an outfielder, you've got to be able to make a play at the plate competitive. Okay, and you're not always going to throw the guy out at the plate, but you want to make sure that the ball's getting there in a timely fashion. Just about everybody at the Division I level is going to be able to catch the ball that's in the air. You know, you've got some more elite guys that are going to catch it in the gap.
Mm-hmm.
But the average, you know, fly ball to the outfield guys are going to be able to catch it. So the second part of that's going to be able to, you know, throw the ball well. When I'm out looking at, I work primarily with our infield defense. I've got a coach that works with our outfielders, and then guys that work with our pitchers and catchers. But you know, one of the things that I look for in our guys in the infield is being able to make our routine plays. You know, I'm happy to see guys diving all over the place, but if you can make a routine play and not overthink it, then we're in great shape. So when we understand what we're doing and what we need to who we need to get out, then we're in great shape. And quite honestly, we've done that pretty well over the past few years as well.
I mean, I kind of get the gist of the style of play. That's what I was asking, you know. So,
sure.
I mean, being at a minor league ball, what is it? Is it a Orioles, you know, minor league, or is it just?
It is. It's called Shorebird Stadium or Purdue Stadium.
I played there years ago. Yeah. It's been a while for a while, right? Yeah.
It's been there for quite a while. Yes.
Okay.
And they're an Oriole. They're a low A Oriole affiliate.
Right.
I've had a very good relationship with all of the people that are there, the GM, the assistant GM, the groundskeepers, and all that kind of good stuff. So that was one of the first things that we tried to do when I first came in, is to be able to play our games, you know, in a stadium where guys can be proud. And I'm not saying that we don't have that. It's just a matter of, weather is not always on our side, especially when you're playing in February and March. And it's, you know, it's freeze, thaw, you know, windy, the whole 9 yards. And they are able to get a field ready as often as we want to play. So that's made it real good for us.
All right. Ty Barr says, is Dwayne Washington from Piscataway still there? Did he get drafted?
He is still there. That's not the correct name, but but he is from Piscataway, New Jersey. He is a guy that we definitely are having be looked at potentially to be drafted. Absolutely. Right. He's a great kid. Quite honestly, he was a dual position player when I first got into the program, and he worked his way into being a number one arm on the mound, and has done an outstanding job. But I can tell you this, he could go out and play any position on the field and be really good at it. He's just an athletic guy.
He's an athlete, huh?
His sophomore year, he batted over 300.
But he's getting looked at as a pitcher?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. So on an average, speaking of that, you know, on an average, I know you've been there 4 years. Have you had any kids get drafted out of the school?
We have not had any drafted out of our program. Let me give you a little background on our program. Okay. The year that I took over, we were really at about 22 guys on our roster. And at the end of the year, we graduated 10 of those 22. So our next year, we really went out and hustled to get some recruits in, get some guys in. And, some of the guys were the right guys and some of them were not. Some of them didn't want to do the classroom work. And it was real simple for us to say, thank you, but no thank you. And the ones that really stuck have been really good all the way around. And Dwayne happens to be one of those guys. He's just an absolute pleasure, and he'll tell you just like anybody else. Him and I went round and round when we first when I first took over, and part of that was he had to get his game up to a level where I felt like it should be, and he's one heck of a guy. I just talked to him yesterday, as a matter of fact.
All right.
We talk.
Okay. With COVID, will you allow kids to redshirt so they can get 2 degrees, bachelor's and master's?
So yes. So the answer to that is I will have guys that are going to go on and get their master's degree. I will also have guys that potentially will get 2 bachelor's degrees. It really depends on what it is that they're trying to accomplish. And, one of the big things about Division I is what they call PTD, and that's called progress towards degree. So it really, one of the most difficult things is making sure that when you go somewhere and you play Division I, that you're always working towards your degree with regards to credits. Just because you're taking classes doesn't always mean that you're working towards your degree. And there have been a couple times that I've had guys that are really smart and they'll take some classes outside of their degree path just because they want to, and they don't realize that they're losing those credits towards degree because they replaced it with something that didn't count. So it doesn't happen often, but it does happen, and you've always got to follow your progress towards degree.
All right. So what do you see in the next 3 to 5 years with Maryland Eastern Shore? Being right now, obviously it's a short-term setback these last couple of years, but where do you see the program in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I really feel good with, where we've been the last 2 years. And, hopefully we'll continue to build on that. I truly believe that good teams come from consistency. So when guys come into a program, they know what they're getting into. They know what the expectations are. They know how we're going to approach things, and they're able to fit into that mold. And I think that's why good teams are really good. I think good coaches present that stability, and that's why teams continue to take off. Those teams that have coaches, rolling in, rolling out, rolling in, rolling out, everybody has an expectation. It doesn't mean that the coaches aren't good. It just means that, you throw the guys off a little bit when you bring in different ideas, different times, and it just becomes a little bit difficult on the guys. So you're always trying to find a place where there's going to be some consistency, and you get everything you want out of that particular program.
Okay. Brenton says, what's your player's average workload in terms of hours per semester?
So with regards to just a college schedule, normally you're going to take 15 credits per semester. I require our guys to take 15 credits. And then if something happens and they need to drop a class or something that they have that ability, you obviously can't work below a 12 credit semester. So to be a full-time student, you've got to have at least 12 credits. Some of my guys are taking 18 credits, so we've got 15 to 18 is normally where most of our guys fall. When it comes to Division I sports, you can require the guys to do 8 hours a week outside of what we call the non-championship segment. And then when we get into our championship segments and all, then you can do 20 hours a week. So the vast majority of things that go on, weight training, practice, things like that, that all falls under those hour requirements. And, quite honestly, again, the outside of those hour requirements, I require a certain number of study hall hours depending on what's going on. Generally, we require a minimum of 10 hours a week in study hall. Currently, everybody does that, but I have given the go-ahead for some guys that are really good students that they may not have to do that every week.
All right. I know that schedule is crazy. So the coach, man, we're coming up on this hour. Camps, you just up to NCAA right now, right? So it's no, but you usually run them, and you should be pretty good. I don't want to talk for NCAA or for them, but September, October, November, you run your prospect camps, right? So,
right.
All right. So while you're at home right now, is there a link or email or somebody that is interested in Maryland Eastern Shore that wants to send some video or some tape, on their kid? While you're at home right now, is there a Twitter or email that you like that I could share with the community to, put out there if they have some kids that they want?
Absolutely. If you go right to our UMES website, we've got two things that are on there. One would be a recruit submission form. And that would allow anybody to send us information on their interest. Also, the coaches' links also have the email address, and you're more than welcome to send an email to myself or my assistant coach, Ben Kirk, who does primarily most of our recruiting. However, I'm as involved as anybody, so we're always going to be available to talk to recruits. And there's also a phone number, which obviously if we're not in the office, you're not going to get us, but you're always more than welcome to leave a message and it'll show up on my email, and I'll listen to it and see if we can't get back to you. All
right. Good deal. You guys look it up. I was trying to look it up real fast, but you said UMES.com?
If you go into UMES Athletics or just Google UMES Baseball, it'll come up. I apologize for not knowing.
I usually do it. I usually do it for the most part. I'm hoping that's just it. You know what I'm saying? So, if it's not, trust me, they'll correct it. Somebody will put it up there in a minute. Coach, if you could, man, I'm always have my guests kind of leave us out with a great message. I just want to kind of say my little pleasantries before we head out. So this will be my last show for the week. All right. So I'm going to wish everybody still on here a Merry Christmas. I hope Santa gives you everything you want. All right. I hope your kids get everything they want and bother you to death that they didn't get it. All right. Just spread that holiday cheer for you. I will be back on Monday. We have Tim Riley, I think, from Lafayette, Louisiana. We're going to Louisiana on Monday. All right. He will be on Monday. Let's continue this knowledge. And we got some great guests coming up. Got some real surprises. I can't, sometimes I'll spill the beans before they come on, and then they don't come on. But right now we're in the works of bringing on some solid guests going into the new year. Coming out in the new year, I should say. Have some news also, regarding that, but I'll push that towards next week. But I appreciate all you guys. That the fans that's been listening. January 23rd, we are having a showcase in Montgomery, Alabama. I will have the flyers up hopefully by Monday when you. If anybody in the Montgomery area, I know I got a parent that's talked about from Texas coming, and obviously in and around Atlanta and every Montgomery, Alabama area. Coach, I have been live streaming these. I love to connect you to the live stream. And we are also talking about, tentatively doing this HBCU showcase in California. I just talked to my guy. So I'm gonna reach out to all you guys. I know some maybe, kind of getting locked down and playing on that Saturday, but I can always send you the footage, of the workouts. So I'm just gonna put that bug in your ear. So if you hear from me in the back, just know that I'm gonna add you to that link. All right. And we kind of go from there. And then, again, it's been asked, so it's not like I'm whatever. So everybody from California and certain places is like, well, HBCU don't never come out this way. Well, we can't. I get it all the time. So I'm coming out there to California to do an HBCU showcase. So I'm just gonna be live streaming it because you guys can't go nowhere. So I'll keep you on the post out for that. So Latanya Jansen appreciates it. Vince, thank you. Brenton, appreciate it. Merry Christmas to all of you guys. Okay. Anyway, Coach, if you could, man, I would love for you to take us on out with a message, man, as we head out of here, man.
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to come on and talk with you. I got to tell you, I love the University of Maryland Eastern Shore and our baseball program. Our administration and our university, they just, I love being a part of it. But, more than anything, if I were to leave a message, anybody that's out there that really wants to play the game, work hard at it, enjoy it. Don't make it a business, make it pleasure, because a lot of times you get out there and I played until I was older because I loved it. And, one of the things that I think I'm most proud of is the fact that, when they had a game, I was there. Okay. It wasn't that I had to be there. I showed up to every game, whether I was hurt, whether I wasn't, but I always showed up. And, the pleasure is being able to be involved with all the guys and create all the relationships that I created, through the game. And again, now the biggest thing for me, and I tell people this all the time, is I can't play anymore. So I want to go back out and make the biggest impact as a coach. And that's why I'm here. I was presented with an opportunity at Maryland Eastern Shore, and I wouldn't trade it, for anything. And at this point, I hope that everybody understands the game is more than the extra stuff. It's supposed to be a pleasure. You're supposed to be able to go out there and just really enjoy what you're doing. So, I consider myself pretty daggone lucky to be doing this as a career. And, again, if there's anything that anybody needs or whatever, please feel free to reach out to me as a coach, and I'll be glad to try to help.
Appreciate that, Coach. Thank you so much, man, for coming on, sharing Maryland Eastern Shore to my community. I know they're all appreciative. And I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, you and your family a Merry Christmas, man. Great to meet you. And I appreciate you, going into the holiday, spending a little time over here with my community. And I already told you I would be hitting you up. Okay. So I'm just going to be letting you know ahead of time. All right. So, so parents, again, I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. I will be back on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern. So enjoy Christmas, enjoy your weekend. You guys stay safe out there, man. And man, you guys, take care of yourselves out there. All right. Coach, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming on, man.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Nah, no doubt. Parents, 4 p.m. Eastern. Merry Christmas to you guys.